Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this latest episode of Fresh Review Friday. So sit back, relax, grab your cigar, maybe a drink, and enjoy.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode with this guy. We're hanging out on my dad's patio once again, and we're not going to be doing a cigar review this week. We're instead going to be doing what so many other cigar reviewers, content creators are doing, and we thought we'd chip in our thoughts as well. We're going to be doing a top 10, a top 5 from each of us of our favorite cigars over the past year, over 2020, which has been a hell of a year.
A shite show, as it were.
Yes, more or less. But cigars make it a lot more bearable, and so we're going to talk about a few of our favorites. It's pretty damn hard for me to narrow it down, I will be completely honest. But we're going to go ahead and get going. So, without any further ado, cue music.
Hey dads, smoking cigars, cigar lovers everywhere. Hey, Kyle and I are getting with you and showing us our top 10 collectively.
Yep.
You know, this year not being like any other year in the past 100 or so years, gave us a lot of time to lean on our cigar humidors and kind of take stock of, are we stocked, can we be stocked, and what are we stocked with? And so for me, 2020 was a year to try new things. I could definitely, you know, trot out the tried and true, you know, the cigars that everybody knows are just fantastic.
Yep.
But I thought, you know, it would probably be better if I talked about some of the cigars I've smoked for the first time this year. There's so many good cigars out there, impossible to try them all. And thanks to some of our friends on the cigar channels that we communicate on, like Not So Gentlemanly Cigar Smokers and Cigar Aficionado, and lots of others, Drew Estates, and the list goes on and on. You know, you kind of take the pulse of what everybody else is smoking, and you go, hey, I haven't tried that. Let me give that a roll. So
absolutely.
This year, I leaned on some recommendations, not only from my dear son here, but also from some folks on the Not So Gentlemanly Cigar Smokers channel. I discovered some cigars that I had no knowledge they even existed, and I was sort of ashamed to say that, but you know, it's a big universe out there. Yeah, no shame in our game.
No, absolutely not.
So, you know, in looking at some of the cigars I've smoked, I've got basically my top new 5 for me, as well as some honorable mentions among those first-time smokers that I've tried. And I'll kind of start at the bottom, and I mean that in a very respectful manner, but and I've kind of laid them out here just because I wanted to be correct in the ones I was referring to.
You wanted to do some show and tell as well. I did not think that far ahead because
little show and tell. What you're looking at here is the La Aurora Cameroon,
which I just tried not long ago.
It's a fantastic little smoke, a good 45-minute, and you know, from beginning to end, very tasty. I won't get into notes of this or that, but just let you know, it was a very enjoyable smoke. You know, if you've got a quality hour to set aside and not much more than that, this is a great stick to go to. I really enjoyed it. Pair it with your favorite bourbon, scotch, soft drink. You know, I noticed a lot of you guys out there drinking coffee with your cigars. I'm not a morning cigar guy unless we've got them on down. But I'm not a morning guy unless I'm teeing off at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and by 8:30, 9 o'clock after the first or second Bloody Mary's gone down. Well, the cigar sounds pretty good. So the La Aurora would be a good way to start your day. I've also tuned into this one, the Matilde. Let me get this name right.
Got to have her facts straight. Get fact checking.
Yep. I apologize to all you guys out there that can the Renaissance, I believe this is called, and this is another fantastic little smoke. I really enjoyed this. It was a first time knock my socks off. Where have you been all my life? And you know, very enjoyable.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that one because I believe that one's sitting in my humidor, courtesy of you.
There you go. Yeah, I like to share with my son here, and if I get a ton of 5-packs, then I make sure he has at least one from every one, so he can broaden his cigar palate and just enjoy some freebies from the old man. So.
I loved him before, and I love him that much more now.
Right. Right? So, one of the cigars that I discovered this year, courtesy of my son, was the line from Casa Cuevas.
Our sponsor, thank you very much.
Yeah.
From our casa to yours.
Shout out to Luis and his family. Made with care from one of the Cuban original families. They're out of Miami, Florida. And I've enjoyed the entire line. There's not a smoke in there I haven't really enjoyed, but I have to give a particular shout out to the La Mandaria, which is Spanish for the sledgehammer, and there's a story behind that. You should read about that on the Casa Cuevas website while you're buying a few cigars. This one's got a shaggy toe. It's a really nice smoke, as you can see. It's fairly long. It's about a 6.5 inch smoke, and I got to tell you, this one is just an absolute pleasure to smoke when you're celebrating something, playing 18. I don't care what it's for. Some folks might think that's sacrilege to smoke a great cigar on the golf course. Not me. I'm not one of those people.
No, definitely not. I say if you're going to smoke what you enjoy.
There you go.
Whether it is the cheapies or the best you can get. Which, by the way, Pop, speaking of the best you can get, what are you smoking tonight before you move on to your next in the top 5?
So when Kyle said we were going to do a review tonight, I thought, I'm going to break out something special, something I really enjoy smoking, and so I've just loved the Davidoff line, and I know they can be a bit pricey, and some folks think they may be overrated for what you pay, but I got to tell you, a friend of mine, Sal Masato, and his son Anthony follows this broadcast as well as joins us in some other blogs, and this is the Davidoff Yamasa, and it's a torpedo shape, and it's just a desert island cigar. I mean, if I could only smoke one cigar for the rest of my life, granted it would be expensive, because each one of these babies in California anyway will cost you $25, but it's just fantastic. It's got some floral notes when you light the toe, pardon me, and it just smokes. It's got little notes of chocolate. It's got a really pleasant taste on the back of your palate. For you retrohalers out there, I'm sure you're going to really enjoy this cigar when you try that. But I save these for special occasions. This is not a golf course smoke. This is my son's come to visit smoke, or it's a birthday or an anniversary. Love these cigars. So I mean, obviously this would have made my top 5, but I thought I'd stick to new stuff that I've tried, pass along the knowledge. Many of you out there may already have that knowledge, but it's great to broaden your cigar world. I recently discovered cigarbid.com, which is a blessing and a curse. And I will give you a tip out there. I offer the bid that's on the table at the time, and I set my max at 50% of retail. And guys, I'm winning like 90%, and ladies, about 90% of my bids, which I wound up with just an ungodly amount of cigars arriving here over a 2-week period. I want to say it was. Hence
why he felt like he needed to pass them over to me, because he was running out of room in his humidor.
Yeah. A
good problem to have, but also, a challenge.
Yeah, I have a 300 count humidor, and I had to press my old 100 count into service. And now I'm looking into buying an even larger humidor. So it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, pretty much.
But during these COVID times, what if they shut us down and cigar stores can't open, or all we've got is mail order. So I can tell you, I put quite a dent in Cigar Bid, as well as my Amazon account for other things, which you can imagine. But yeah, the Davidoff Yamasa, one of my go-tos. I thoroughly enjoy it. Another stick that I discovered, thanks to our compatriots on these cigar channels, I discovered the Plasencia line, which I was ignorant to until the year 2020. And I gotta tell you, what a game changer. I smoked just the other day their Alma del Campo, pardon me, and I'm gonna tell you guys, it was just such a delight. It was like having dessert. I mean, the wrapper was a bit oily, the burn was even throughout. It didn't smoke hot at any point, even down to the nub, and this was a nub, and let me tell you, the Alma del Campo, I would say buy a box, buy 2. I mean, it's one of those cigars, and I bought mine on Cigar Bid, so I got to tell you, I got a deal there. I didn't pay more than $4 for any one of them, and it's certainly worth a lot more than that. So, if you can find them in your local store, I recommend everybody buy one of everything and give them a try and find out what you like. But the Plasencia cigars have just been...
He's speechless.
I'm speechless, yeah. That doesn't happen very often. But I gotta tell you, man, that line has some of the most phenomenal cigars in it, from top to bottom.
Which I still need to try.
And so the Reserva Original, there is more of a Connecticut wrapper. Some of you might like that, but I found the Alma del Campo to be just out of this world good. And then they have another called...
so are you 3 into your top 5 right now? Is that what you're...
Yeah, I'm about 3 into my top 5.
Okay, so we had the Casa Cuevas, we had the Alma, the Plasencia Alma del Campo,
and the Matilde Renacer.
So what are we moving on to next?
So next we're going to move on to another one in the Plasencia line.
All right.
And this one is just going to knock your socks off. It comes in a few different wrappers, but it's a good long smoke, and it's called the Alma Fuerte. If you like a robust cigar, this is a cigar you have to get. And I will tell you, when I smoked the first one, I thought, well, maybe this one isn't for me because it really kicked my ass.
I remember getting that phone call. You're like, holy crap,
yeah,
son.
the Fuerte was muy fuerte. And I got to tell you, I had to put it down halfway through and walk away from it and come back to it. And it got a little bit better, but I was thinking, well, maybe I finally met my match. I got a cigar that's too robust for me. As the years have gone by, I've really come to enjoy more robust cigars. I was kind of a mild to medium guy when I first started out several years back.
As was I.
But I got to tell you, man, this one came in an octagon shape, so kind of a unique cigar
I don't
experience.
think I knew that.
I've got one here that is just a box press, but still, they've got the octagon shape. It's kind of a gimmick. I don't know that I really enjoyed the octagon any more than I enjoyed the box press. But then I thought, I'll give this one more chance, and I gave it a smoke, and wow, just wow. I ordered a half a dozen of them, and I went through the other 5 quickly. Actually, I handed a couple out to guys I know who are, avid cigar smokers. Kyle, I think I even put one in your humidor if I didn't.
Which one?
The Alma Plasencia.
No, you did not.
Alma Fuerte, yeah, it's a great cigar. So,
but that's okay.
I give away a lot of cigars to my boy here, so I can't keep track.
And I can't complain no matter what. I'm not gonna call him up. Hey, God, you didn't put that one in here. I'm not seeing it. Where is it?
But he actually did say the other day, Dad, I have no room for any more cigars. So.
I have a little bit of room. But it's a blessing because I've been fortunate enough to not only be the benefactor of my generous father sharing his cigars with me, but I've been able to connect with a lot of manufacturers and people who make some really great cigars, kind of like you were saying before, that you may never have heard of if you hadn't been told about them or been shared with you and stuff like that. So no complaints on this side of things at all. So you get into your number 1?
Well, actually these are in no particular order. I just thought I'd throw out 5 and then I'll tell you my number 1, and so you may be already be able to tell based on the way I raved about a couple of these, but the Carlos Terrano, the 50 year, I got to tell you, this one blew my mind. I had never experienced a Terrano line, and I know a lot of you have smoked it and enjoyed it, but I have to tell you, this little baby right here,
it's very good.
The Exodus 1959 50 year. Wow. I mean,
excellent cigar.
I got way more cigar than I ever expected out of a Corona size.
Yeah, I think that's a Corona size. It looks a little bit thinner than a Robusto.
Yep. And so I thoroughly enjoyed these. I only bought a 5-pack. I will be buying more. I just couldn't get enough of this cigar. I only wished it was larger. Like I say to my lovely wife, the only thing wrong with that is there isn't more.
Yep.
And but they do have larger cigars, of course. But this was just probably, of all the cigars I found, this one surprised me the most in how much I liked it. So once I gave it a review, I went back and looked at the official reviews, and what do you know?
Lines up pretty good.
Lines up very well. Yeah, it's an outstanding cigar, something I was ignorant of. So I felt like I had to review it myself before I, was jaundiced by the reviews themselves, because I tend to look at cigars and say, well, what's hot? What do people like? I'll give that a try. So this has been a real year of exploration because of COVID. I just bought 5-packs after 5-packs and experienced a lot of great cigars. I wish I could jam them all into this review, but Kyle asked me to pick my top 5. If I could go on to my honorable mentions.
Yeah, go for it.
Some other great smokes that I found out there. The La Herencia, you know, they make a fantastic cigar,
which are made by AJ Fernandez, if I'm not mistaken.
which, you know, it always never ceases to amaze me, and well, it never ceases to amaze me that, you know, when I enjoy a cigar, it's made by AJ Fernandez or it's made by Drew Estates, you know, something that I'm not that keen on. I just like the cigar for the reasons I like the cigar. But these have been some fantastic smokes. The La Herencia has been a game changer for me, and then also one that a lot of people poo-poo, but I got to tell you, you know, there's nothing wrong with a good $2 smoke every once and again.
Not at all.
And I discovered factory smokes, and actually it was because of all the naysayers out there who said, you know, real cigar smokers don't smoke factory smokes. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a $2 stick in the humidor for when company comes over and say, yeah, I like smoking cigars. And if someone threw half of this one in the ashtray and walked away, I wouldn't shed a tear. I'd be upset.
Right.
But I'd keep it to myself. So I got to tell you,
there's some of those cigars where you're okay if you don't finish it. This is one of those cigars where it's not a bad cigar at all, because I've had, just to touch on it, because I've tried this factory smoke in particular, the Connecticut Shade, a few times. I got a box a while back of 25, $40 off Cigars International. Good deal for, you know, it's a good cigar for the money, is what I will say. And sometimes the flavor's a bit off, it's not really that great, and so it's one of those cigars where if it doesn't quite hit the spot while you're doing it, maybe you're in the yard or you're playing around a golf or whatever it is you're doing, if it doesn't hit quite right, then you can just flick it. It's really no skin off your back, because it's decent, not always that great, but it's pretty good cigar for the money, I will say that.
Right, absolutely. So if you're looking for an inexpensive stick to share with the friends or the golf buddies, whoever, who, you know, that's the only time they smoke, I'd buy a bundle of 20 and keep them in your humidor if you've got the room, and just load your Herfador up when you head out to the golf course. And
absolutely.
You know, I am usually the cigar man when we play golf, and everybody knows it, so they tend not to bring anything, which we covered in past reviews. It's just poor form not to show up with
it really is.
One stick for each of your buddies.
At least bring one or two for yourself. Put it in your pocket, and that way you have something.
Right.
Know, if the big man isn't sharing with anybody.
And I always share, and they know that. But, you know, don't assume.
Right.
Because that makes an ass
out of you
and me.
Exactly.
There you go. So, you know, be kind, share, bring enough for the crowd. You know, 4 sticks at $2 a pop won't set you back too far. But I know a lot of people, when they know you're a cigar smoker, they're afraid to bring things because they think, oh, Kevin won't like that or Kyle won't like that. You know what? Give it a try anyway. You know, it might be a pleasant surprise. Don't pick up cigars in the pro shop. They'll gouge you. No offense to all you golf folks out there. You deserve to make a buck.
Yeah.
But if I pay $25 for a cigar, I don't want it to be a $12 cigar.
No, absolutely not.
So, you know, those are my honorable mentions. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, obviously, there's the great sticks out there that everybody knows. You know, the Padron 1926 and 1964 series. Love those cigars. The Oliva V Milano, another great cigar. But Cigar Aficionado has reviewed those and given them high marks, so it's not hard to figure out why people like those.
Yep.
But yeah, I tell you what, in the year of COVID, and it's almost over, you know,
hope so.
my cigar consumption has gone way up because I don't have to leave the house. You might want to smoke one on your lunch break. You might want to smoke one as the day ends.
Point is, you don't need an excuse, even though this year has given us every excuse. But it's definitely given us a chance to try some more of those cigars that we may not have tried before.
So I bogarted Kyle's time, and now
it was your time. You didn't bogart anything, Pop.
It's our time.
It is our time. So on to me. And right now, at the moment, I am smoking a Southern Draw Desert Rose, which is actually very good right now. It's pretty consistent right now. Nice, sweet kind of grassy hay flavor with a little bit of cream and things like that. I'm getting some pretty. This is the third Southern Draw cigar from that particular manufacturer that I've tried over this past year. Haven't gotten to try a whole lot of them. One of them is actually on my list, so I'll go ahead and lead off with that. And that cigar is the Southern Draw Cedrus, which the Cedrus is basically a word for a specific type of genus and species of tree. And the name was actually very fitting because I remember when I tried it, it kind of almost had like,
I believe that would be the cedar tree.
The cedar tree, yes. And when I tried it, it kind of had a little bit of that like cedar, pine, almost like an evergreen kind of flavor to it. It was kind of crazy and strange. I was a little taken aback by it, but it was pleasant. It was a very nice surprise. I remember smoking that and having a good time with it. It was a very unique cigar in terms of flavor, and I always appreciate cigars like that because I have my go-tos, which I'll probably be talking about those in my honorable mentions because they're cigars that I will always favor and love. But these 5, and this was really challenging for me to do, to find 5 cigars, and for all I know, I may be regretting this later because they're like, oh, I should have put that one in, I should have talked about that.
So listen to him now and talk about it later.
Yes, pretty much. Discuss. And the Southern Draw Cedrus was definitely one of the first cigars I reviewed solo when I started doing the channel on my own and things like that. That was one of the first cigars I did on my own, and it stood out to me definitely because of its unique flavor and its unique profile. And it was it was my first real Southern Draw cigar, and it was a great experience right off of the bat. So I was happy about that. And so there's that one, and I'm kind of putting them in a particular order in terms of how they stood out and which ones are going to be like kind of the, as Emer Lagasse would say, BAM! Right at the end there, because those will be my top ones. Yeah, I know. And the next one is one that I think I reviewed either just before or right after I had the Cedrus, and that is the Good Life by Brian DeSint. Now that is an exclusive cigar that you'll only get, and my mind is completely blanking on the cigar subscription service. Oh, Privada.
Okay.
Privada Cigar Club. There you go. It's an exclusive cigar through Privada, and the cigar is made by J.C. Newman Company, which makes a lot of really great cigars, including Brick House and a few others. So anybody who smokes cigars for a fairly extended length of time has heard of J.C. Newman. Is I think it's the oldest cigar company in America, if I'm not mistaken. So excellent cigar, just very deep, complex flavors. It was a darker cigar, very rich, kind of medium plus, not necessarily full body. Had kind of a nice sweet molasses flavor to it, but it was a really good cigar that I actually won through a giveaway, and really tasty. Put your phone away, Dad.
I'm checking Kyle's facts right now as we speak. I have the oracle in my hands, folks.
Yes, he does. All right. I'll let that slide then. But no, the Good Life by Brian DeSint was a really great cigar. I was very pleased with it because it was one of those things where I won it. It was a free cigar, so if it was not that great of experience, you're thinking to yourself, well, at least I'm not out X amount of dollars and I didn't waste my money on a bad cigar. Well, I would spend my money on that cigar. It was a very good cigar. So,
Kyle is correct, by the way. The oldest United States cigar company is J.C. Newman. However, the oldest cigar company is H. Upton.
All right. Wow, I'm actually surprised. I thought that would have been Arturo Fuente.
I did too.
So there you have it. You learn something new every day, and you also learn that I know stuff sometimes. So, and my facts are occasionally correct. But the next one that really stood out to me, and this was the first review you and I did together, is the Two Brothers Maduro. Now, this cigar in particular from these guys is the only cigar they make currently. I know they are planning to put out other cigars in their line and stuff like that, but these guys are excellent guys. It says two brothers on the band, but it's actually two sets of brothers. Twin brothers and then another set of brothers, and unfortunately, and they're going to hate me for this, their names are eluding me. I haven't talked to them in a while, but they're really great guys. They reached out to me, we talked to each other, I picked up some of their cigars, and they were excellent. Very chocolatey, very rich, very great experience, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. And it was one of those hidden gem cigars, and something I love to do, and social media really gives us the ability to do this, kind of like you were saying, through not so gentlemanly cigar group on Facebook and others. You get to see what they smoke, and then you're finding out about these cigars that you may have never heard of. It's how I found out about a lot of the cigars I smoke now that are in my frequent rotation. And so finding out about these guys through Instagram was really a blessing, because I got to try a cigar that's brand new to me, pretty much brand new to the market, but I also got to support a brand new small business, and these guys are very passionate about what they do. The cigar is a blend that I believe they themselves put together, but it's actually put together by GTO Cigars. And shout out to my buddy, Dr. Oscar Rodriguez, sorry about that. Very good guy, makes excellent cigars, and this one is no exception. And so Two Brothers Maduro was a very great cigar, and I enjoyed it very much. So the next cigar, and I don't know if you've tried this. I know you've tried a couple of Espinosa cigars, Pop. But this one, I was fortunate enough to do a trade with a guy in another cigar group I belong to, the Barrel Burners, and we've done a couple of cigar trades with each other, and he sent me a bunch of Espinosa Murcielago, which is just Spanish for the bat. And it has kind of a little Batman-esque looking band on it. It's really cool looking, stands out, but it is a fantastic cigar. And I realized I haven't reviewed it on my channel yet. I don't know why I haven't. That might be one of the next reviews I do. But excellent cigar. Consistent every time I smoked it. I've smoked it 2 or 3 times. Fantastic smoke. I enjoy it every single time. Very bold. Got a lot of chocolate and coffee. Really complex flavors in there. Transitions very well. Great construction. Really good cigar. Espinosa continues to put out fantastic cigars. I've tried a number from Espinosa, and that is one of the, in my opinion, one of the heavy hitters from that brand. So my final of my top 5 was a cigar that, honestly, because, and I don't know, I think what you mentioned, like the Alma Fuerte, was one that kind of blew your mind. This cigar was one that absolutely blew my mind because I didn't quite know what to expect from it. And it's essentially 3 cigars all packed into one. That, of course, is the Under the Wire. I recently reviewed it, the Blue Mountain Cigars El Threesome. And it is very appropriately named because, as I said, it's 3 cigars essentially packed into one, because it starts off with a Connecticut wrapper, then a Habano wrapper, and then a Brazilian Matafina wrapper at the cap. And it has, in the Connecticut and the Habano, as well as the Matafina, there's 3 distinct blends on the inside, including binder and filler. So you're getting a different experience with each third, which just threw me for a loop. And
which he hasn't shared with me, by the way.
Well, I only got one, so I wasn't able to share, unfortunately.
But if we had taken turns, we'd have all smoked a different cigar.
Pretty much. So, no, that was just a trippy cigar in itself, because it's just like with each third, it literally was a different experience. The flavors were amazing. I can't put them completely into words because of just how different they all were. I mean, it just, each one of those thirds alone would make a great cigar, but all packed into one was just insane. And it was, I think it was very innovative and very clever. I mean, we've all tried, like, you know, Candelas, and we've all tried like barber pole wrapper cigars. Absolutely. Where it has to do 2 different wrappers. Sometimes it's a Maduro in Connecticut or a Habano in Connecticut. It's, you know, I've had a couple of barber pole cigars, very, very good, and a very creative and fun way to craft a cigar. But the El Threesome by Blue Mountain was just something else entirely, and I can't wait till I get to try it. I really hope you get to try it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I've smoked barber pole cigars before. CAO makes a good one, and then Island Cigars in Florida makes a great line, which, by the way, you know, they've got a boatload of $2 cigars you should try. They definitely taste like much better smokes than $2, but definitely a bargain. But nothing like the experience Kyle just shared. I'm looking forward to putting that on my list of cigars I must try. Yes. There's still a little bit of time in 2020 for me to try some new cigars.
Yep, all you gotta do is go to BlueMountainCigars.com. It's right there for you to pick up an order, and they got a crazy wide assortment, everything from, you know, just your regular premium cigars, a mix of different, you know, Maduros, Connecticut's, Habanos, etc. But they also have a dipped line where it's dipped in tequila, it's dipped in chocolate, it's dipped in Crown Royal Peach, and other stuff like that, which the Crown Royal Peach was actually a very good cigar. And, you know, you might hear that and think it sounds like a flavored cigar, but it actually does not smoke like a flavored cigar at all. So definitely worth looking into Blue Mountain Cigars. Fantastic brand, and they've actually been around since the mid-90s. So they're no stranger to the cigar industry, but they're not as well known as other brands, and that's one of the reasons why I like them so much, and I was glad I got to try them. But
so are those your 5?
Those are my 5, and
Any honorable mentions?
I got a crazy amount of them. I'm going to try and keep it as short and sweet as possible. Mention the ones that I really think are worth mentioning, even though they're all fantastic cigars. If they made it onto my list of potentials, I really enjoyed them. They were very good. So I'm going to start off with one that is a go-to of mine that is made by a fantastic company. It's a small online cigar retailer, and the owner of that business is a very good friend of mine. He lives in Illinois, where much of our family lives. And that is my good buddy Steve, who owns and runs FrontlineCigars.com. And the cigar I'm talking about is the Blue Line, which is a cigar I've gotten to enjoy many, many times, and it is fantastic each time. I believe I gave you a couple of them. I don't know if you've had a chance to try them yet.
Still aging in my humidor.
Yeah, so I did the same. I bought a 5-pack, and I smoked the first couple in pretty short order, and then I realized I didn't want to blow through them, so I let them sit. And I was on a video chat with Steve, and I was like, I got a couple more, but I'm letting them sit. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because I don't want to run out of them yet. I like them. I love them. I really appreciate them. I don't want to run out yet, so I'm letting them sit. And he's like, all right, I'm okay with that. So FrontlineCigars.com, Blue Line, that is their first cigar they put out, and they got another one coming out first of the year. It looks excellent. They haven't announced the name yet, at least that I've seen. And so I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty sure it's going to be called the Green Line, because the beautiful thing about FrontlineCigars.com, Steve, having been a 14-year veteran in the Chicago Police Department, he has a big, big heart for police officers, first responders, and our military. And a portion of the proceeds from FrontlineCigars.com goes to the Help the Heroes Foundation. So Steve has a big heart, and pretty much everything regarding Frontline has everything to do with our first responders, military, and police. So
shout out to Chi-Town, something very near and dear to our family's hearts.
Absolutely.
We've got several hundred relatives in the Chicagoland area, and that's
yes.
no joke. Both my great-grandparents were one of 7 children on both sides, and they each had a boatload of kids, and you can imagine all the cousins and second cousins and so forth that come from that line. But kind of want to get back to Illinois whenever we can.
Yes.
And so shout out to Chi-Town and all the surrounding communities. We miss you guys. We love you guys. Hope you're watching this review, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. So, and then the next one that I want to mention is actually one that's a pretty much brand new cigar, new to the market, and it's made by my buddy Ethan McDonald, who has his own Instagram and now company called Dead Man's Inc. And he was very gracious and generous enough to send me the 2 cigars he has in his line, and one of them was called the Nocturnus, but the one that I'm mentioning is called the Dead Man's Inc. Cyanide, which, don't let the name fool you, it's anything but toxic, and it's actually delicious.
And he's still here, folks.
And I'm still here. It ain't killed me. So it was a very, very unique cigar, to the point where, like, it was kind of another one of those mind-blowing cigars, because I didn't know what to expect, and what I got was completely beyond what I could have anticipated or expected. Had kind of a sweetness to it, almost like it was a flavored cigar, but it wasn't. Just a great blend of tobaccos and a really good flavor, and a very excellent first effort by my buddy who's getting into the cigar industry. If you haven't checked out his Instagram, please check out Dead Man's Inc. On Instagram. And the ink is spelled I-N-K, not ink as incorporated, but ink as in tattoos, which he has a lot of them. And this guy is so cool that Martin Cove, who plays Sensei John Kreese in Cobra Kai, found his Instagram page and gave him a shout out on his Instagram. So that just goes to show you how cool my buddy Ethan is. So
sweep the humidor, Johnny.
Pretty much. So, gosh, I don't know which other honorable mention I want to. There's so many that I could mention, but a couple of them are the 300 Hands Connecticut, another Southern Draw made cigar. One of the best Connecticut's I've had, and Connecticut's are hit and miss with me, so it was one of the most excellent ones that I've tried. Really enjoyed it. Definitely worth picking up. The Mi Querida Triquitraca, which you tried, the Red Band Mi Querida from Steve Saka. Again, under the wire, just tried it. Excellent smoke. The GTO Painkiller, fantastic cigar. Gosh, there's so many I could list. Those are a couple of them. And of course, I shout out to my buddy Pete over at Regina Cigars, the Venice Sancte Spiritus, excellent cigar. And one cigar that was gifted to me, I don't know if you've tried it. It's actually made in the United States. It's made in Kentucky, but it's made with Italian tobacco, and it's fire cured. You never store it in the humidor. You're actually supposed to keep it out, and that's the Toscano. which is an excellent cigar, just an absolute treat to smoke. And that is definitely one of the kind of, surprise cigars that I tried and really enjoyed it. So
for all you new cigar smokers who don't know a humidor, buy a dozen of those and just leave them laying about.
Pretty much.
There you go. You don't have to worry about it.
So those are our top 5s, our combined top 10 for 2020. I'm sure there were tons of others we could have mentioned.
So Kyle, recap your number 1.
My number 1 for my top 5 was the El Threesome by Blue Mountain Cigars. Hands down the most unique and complex and flavorful cigar I think I've tried this year. And I've tried some fantastic ones this year.
Amen.
And
yeah, me too.
I really enjoyed that one. Again, under the wire, I smoked it for the first time about 3 weeks ago. And it still has left a very distinct impression in my mind. And I can't wait to smoke it again.
For me, it was the Plasencia Almacampo. Got to tell you, just can't remember enjoying a cigar that much from front to back. I mean, it was just so smooth, so rich, so complex. The construction was outstanding. The filler was just fantastic. I mean, there was nothing wrong with this cigar. One of these days, just another honorable mention, and it's only because I've just started smoking them. They probably rank higher than that in the future, but Nuestra de Saca, I recently discovered that line, and it's because, again, guys were, really going on and on about them on one of the channels that we follow and are members of. They've got a cigar called the Unicorn. It goes for $100, and so I'm turning 60 next year. That one's sitting in the humidor waiting for my 60th birthday in June next year. So, but I got to tell you that, the Plasencia Almacampo, I'd smoke them all day, every day. It's just that good. Just, you would never regret smoking that cigar. And I know there will always be people who say, it just wasn't for me. I'm always blown away when somebody says, there's not a Davidoff made that I think is worth the price, etc., etc. Everyone's got their favorites.
Yep.
And you know what? That's the beauty of cigar smoking. Like I said on a previous show, it's like wine. It's like your favorite alcohol, Scotch, bourbon, what have you. Everybody's got their favorites. In fact, Kyle, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking some Weller, and I made a little kind of old-fashioned out of it with some passion fruit, so that you provided. Yep. So thank you for that.
Now we got some passion fruit syrup that makes a great passion fruit old-fashioned. If you haven't tried it, try it. Also makes a great hurricane if you're a rum drinker. I'm drinking Eagle Rare tonight. Was able to get a hold of a very large 1.5 milliliter bottle, so I'm refilling my decanter with this stuff as it goes down. But boy, it pairs nicely with just about anything you want to smoke. Ripa.
So those are our top 10 guys, and I'm very interested and excited to see what the next year holds. I'm hoping this next year is better for everyone, and not only do things kind of start to calm the hell down a bit, but also that everybody who enjoys cigars gets to enjoy some new cigars you've maybe never tried before. And those of you who haven't gotten into cigars yet, what are you waiting for? Life is short, unfortunately, as we're found out in this next year. There's so much that could happen. So please enjoy these things. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy life, because there's so much that could happen, and you just never know. So
eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die.
Exactly. So,
kind of a somber note here on the show, but I got to tell you guys, we're probably the last culture on earth who always thought there would be a string of tomorrows.
Yes.
And COVID-19 has taught us all that maybe that's not to be taken for granted. So enjoy each day. Smoke a cigar. Have a bourbon. Have a whiskey. Whatever your pleasure is. And I know I talked a lot about online cigar retailers, but support your local brick and mortar stores.
Absolutely.
Their lifeblood is what you put into them, and we've got to support small business, and so let's keep them going so they come out on the other side. Even if we can't smoke there, let's at least buy some smokes there.
Yes,
and support your local shop.
It is possible to support them. All you got to do is call them up or look on their website. A lot of them do curbside pickup, or they will deliver to you. So there's still a way to support. But I think on that note, Dad, I want to raise a glass to this year. You couldn't be over soon enough. and to 2021, new hopes, new possibilities, and as always, new cigars. So,
Nastrovia.
Nastrovia. Cheers. Thank you, friends, for joining us. We hope you enjoyed. And if you guys have your top 5, your top 10 cigars that you've enjoyed over the last year and you feel like sharing, be sure to mention them in the comments below. And we'd love to hear what some of your favorites are. But as always, we want to thank all of you who support this channel, who support us, who have been so amazing. Obviously, our sponsor, Casa Cuevas. To the Cuevas family, we love you, and we love you guys. So thanks again for joining us, and as always, we will catch you in the next one.
Peace!
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow Dad Smoking Cigars on dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram, and be sure to check us out on Facebook. Until then, guys, stay smoky, and I'll see you in the next one.